Hey guys, so this is a bit built about my Hunter Gambit Reaper slash collector thingy, which can also dip as a sentry. I think this build might be better than my Warlock one, so bear with me. I'm using Shinobu's Vow with skip grenades, which returns not only grenade energy, but returns energy, which means melee and dodge cooldown and gives an additional charge to the skip grenades. So I'm using that with firepower because when I'm charged with white, I get more grenade back when I use a grenade, and I also have impact induction to get my grenade back when I do a melee attack, which is really strong in this build, and you should definitely be using it. I also have another firepower in the helmet because they stack in a way that they both use the same charged with white charge, but they return more energy, depending on how many of them you have. And I also have fusion rifle ammo finder here. And I'm using stacks and stacks, which with which you get one extra charge with white stack anytime you get a charge with white, which means I get to use the benefit of firepower twice with the grenades, which really helps to keep the loop going. And I have charge harvester to get charged with white. This is my only method right now in the build. And double fusion rifle scavenger, because fusion is amazing. And I have another firepower here. So that makes for 3 times firepower. And I'm using distribution. You can also use bomber. You can perhaps go for special finisher. You have options here. Like, probably bomber with special finisher might be better off in the long run. For fusion rifle, I explained about Coriolis Force. This thing is amazing in Gambit. Although, I begin to think that having a pulse monitor instead here might be more beneficial. And one for all is amazing, so you need this perk. For snipers, turns out the new raid sniper is quite good because the Lead from Gold, I think, is probably the best Gambit perk on some weapons because it really helps with the ammo economy. You get special ammo like normally every time you get a heavy brick, which is quite often when you're running double special. So you get a lot of value of this thing. And you can use the sniper more deliberately. And raid combination is also amazing because it not only works with energy weapons when you get kills with them, but it also works with all your abilities, which means I get to do more damage with the sniper every time I get a kill with my skip grenades, with my melee attack, with my super, or my fusion rifle, or let's say my heavy weapon. So that sniper is really good. I really suggest having some handling here because it handles quite poorly. Like floated barrel, arrowhead break, handling masterwork would be amazing. And I pretty much suggest a major spec to one-shot some enemies, although recombination takes care of that. Recombination can have 10 stacks, and it lasts for just one shot, but each stack gives you 10% bonus damage, so you can have a shot that deals double damage, which is pretty much like Izanagi, but with one caveat. You cannot use it versus people. Or at least that's what I heard. It only works for combatants. But don't take my word for it. And to finish off the build, I'm using Anarchy. I think it's the best weapon for Gambit, because you don't really rely on ammo that much. One brick is more than enough to do some insane damage with the fusion rifle. And why I take fusion rifle over shotguns is because it has more range, like double the range, and it deals only critical damage, so end of the day you'll be doing more damage with the fusion rifle than with the shotgun in normal circumstances. Well, unless you have some like combination blow builds and you're using one-two punch, which you can also do with that build. Like, this is a big choice for this build because it's quite good, you know. In Gambit, that was pretty much the meta for quite a while before they nerfed it, but it's still quite good. But I'm using this thing because it lets me have more grenades, because when I hit something with my abilities, I electrified, and when I electrify targets, when I melee them, I get grenade, melee, and dodge energy back. It also disorients them, which is really helpful versus some tough targets that deal a lot of damage. So it kind of helps you and your team be alive. And I get to keep my grenade whoop better and my melee whoop better, so it's really good. And this is the melee attack, it's amazing. You also get Whirlwind Guard, and that's why I prefer this build mostly because this ebb and flow and the Whirlwind Guard, because with this thing I can survive invaders. I can really throw them off because most people when they invade they're not prepared for that thing. I can even run at them with this thing and they'll panic and they'll run. So it's really good. It's not really the most like successful invader shutdown thing, but it's up there. It will help keep you alive. And I'm using Gambit dodge to get my melee back and keep the loop going. So that's about for the build.